you company this Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to a very special episode of My Ramadan Table, a place of warmth where diversity dances together with devotion. I'm your host, YesmienKhotaTouffie, and this will be my virtual home for the next few weeks here at Salaamedia. And we're going to be doing something different for the show. I would like you all to join me and imagine us gathered at a table and the air filled with personal stories, laughter, and unity. So, on this beautiful day, this beautiful morning, I'll be joined by an incredible panel of women, each one with a unique beacon of knowledge and faith. We have a special co host that's going to be joining me, someone who's very dear to my heart and has been part of my journey for the past few months, alhamdulillah. Her name is Saira Bamji. But before I get to introducing Saira, I want to touch on our guest. We're going to be speaking to Tyra Saluji, an advocate of women empowerment and scholarly insight, as well as Pumalele Sakina Dolamo, a guide in life coaching and who has a passion for nurturing family bonds. So that's what we have lined up for you. It's going to be a lot of fun and exciting. So let me get into this. Assalamu alaikum, Saira. Saira is going to be our co-host for the month of Ramadan. She's going to be at my side. And a little bit about Saira. I met Saira when she attended a couple of my workshops. And from there, our energy just connected. And we seem to have formed a really good connection, a good bond, a somewhat friendship with our journey to connecting with Quran, which she will share more with you. Assalamu alaikum, Saira. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dearest sister Yasmeen. Jazakallah for that lovely warm welcome. Yes, Yasmeen and I, alhamdulillah, developed a friendship through the workshops that she hosted, and alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed us to be able to also develop a further bond through Quran, alhamdulillah. May Allah accept of us both. So yes, today, alhamdulillah, we're going to do something different on Yasmeen's show. Thank you, Salaamedia. Thank you, Yasmeen, for this beautiful opportunity. Now, we all know that YesmienKhotaTouffie is this beautiful, dynamic force behind Covered Official Magazine. And she is a visionary, she's a dynamic woman, she encourages women to pursue excellence and discover their inner beauty. But today we're going to turn the tables a little bit, and I'm going to take over the hot seat for a little while from Yasmeen, and we're going to learn a little bit more about Yasmeen and who is the lady behind this dynamic vision, alhamdulillah. So once again, thank you, Yasmeen.
It's a pleasure.
Let's just get right into it, shall we?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but yeah, because I'm in the hot seat. I haven't been here before. So yeah, let's go with it.
First time for everything, huh?
Sure.
Okay, so alhamdulillah, Yasmeen, we all know you to be this dynamic businesswoman, this elegant model, this beautiful, inspiring editor of alhamdulillah, a beautiful magazine, which alhamdulillah, you afforded me the honor of writing a piece for not too long ago, alhamdulillah. But tell us a little bit more about Yasmeen, the real Yasmeen.
The real Yasmeen. Oh my gosh. Aside from the different roles we play, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter. All those I've ticked up. But mainly, I think what people really don't know about me is that I'm actually a novice seeking connection with my creator. I think that's something that I'd like to share. And I'm a cat mom.
Oh, okay. Cat moms. Allah's putting me in the path of a lot of cat moms these last few weeks. I'm a bit afraid. I don't plan on becoming one, but inshallah, as long as you are enjoying your role as cat mom. Okay, so how's your Ramadan been going so far?
Okay, so Ramadan so far has been the week has been a very challenging week. A lot of reaffirmations have come into my path, alhamdulillah. Yeah, so a lot of reaffirmations, a lot of, finding the answers when you are not, where the signs are there and you're not looking. So yeah, that's been something that's come across a lot this Ramadan, but so far so good. Fast is going okay. Aside from being very, very thirsty, I don't know if it is the heat, but yeah, not very hungry, but very, very thirsty. And you, how's your
Alhamdulillah.
Ramadan? How's your Ramadan been?
My Ramadan's been going very well, Alhamdulillah, mashallah. It's also um, have been very thirsty as well. But I think it's the heat. But Allah make it easy for all of us.
Ameen,
And
Thumma Ameen.
subhanallah, Ramadan is just a very special month. And alhamdulillah, so far the last few days for me has been also filled with lots of alhamdulillah spiritual rejuvenation and spiritual reawakenings. And alhamdulillah, I think also understanding this month a little bit more deeper, subhanallah, from how I used to interpret this month maybe 5 years ago or 2 years
Mm-hmm.
ago, subhanallah. So alhamdulillah for that beautiful experience that Allah is putting in my path. It's
Ameen,
really
Ameen.
coming at a very good time, alhamdulillah.
Oh, shukr. Sounds good.
So, Yasmin, tell me about your family and about who's Yasmin's mom, dad, brothers, sisters.
Okay, so I come from a very diverse family, and I think that's the topic that we're going to be discussing. I've got both Indian and Malay heritage, which I'm very proud of both, alhamdulillah. Not realizing that until later on in my life, but yeah, alhamdulillah. That's the reason why I use both my surnames. If you want to know why I use YesmienKhotaTouffie, it represents both my Indian heritage as well as my Malay heritage. So my mom is from a Malay background. My dad is Indian, and I'm married into a Malay family. So yes, that's a bit of my family in a nutshell.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. Nice.
I mean,
Nice. So I think it's important to let our viewers and our listeners understand something. I think the inspiration for today's show came through talks that you and I were having when we were reflecting on Quran, alhamdulillah, and
mm,
we realized that subhanallah, Allah has created us in nations and tribes so that we may learn through our differences and we may be
yes.
united through our differences and show that as much as He has created us all differently, we still are united in our belief in the one Allah. We are still united in the practice and the belief of the noble Quran and the practice and way of the Sunnah of our beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And our deen unites us in how we worship Allah and how we do our obligatory practices towards Allah. But yes, we
Mm-hmm.
do have cultural and traditional practices which may differ. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that was how we decided that's a lovely premise to do a show on. And we then is was when I learned that you come from this rich cultural heritage, alhamdulillah. And I thought,
Love.
hey, Yasmin, let's turn the tables and decide to do an interview on you rather than getting people that we would, learn their journeys off. So that's how this
Yeah,
all started, alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah. Took a lot of convincing from my side, but yeah, alhamdulillah, here we are. And Saira, I'm going to ask you about your background. I'm turning the tables now just a little bit so I can feel a little bit more comfortable. Tell me about your background and your family and how it made you into who you are today, both spiritually and personally.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So I come from what would be considered an Indian background. I grew up in the apartheid era. I come from a beautiful town called Pietermaritzburg. I come from a family that was, alhamdulillah, and still is very deeply seated in community work, in being a part of the community, so to speak. We had at our table always, alhamdulillah, a very diverse group of people. My grandmother, my parents both had a very welcoming tradition and way of life where we welcomed everybody. We lived with people. I lived in an extended family. My dad with his brothers and their wives and their children. We all lived in one house. So, subhanallah, my immediate family always comprised of a minimum of 20 people,
Wow.
alhamdulillah, and more. Um, we truly lived with people from all dominations, if I could put it that way,
Okay.
that
Subhan
lived
Allah.
with us. We had friends that were not Muslim that lived in our home when they needed to, for whatever reason, have a roof over their head. My grandmother, my parents always had this very open, inclusive lifestyle where we were taught you help people, and however you can help, you help. And that influenced my life largely because it was welcoming people from different races, different cultural backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, but they also then became part of our family and practiced a lot of ritual practices of Islam as well. But I think that influenced me to realize that you welcome everybody irrespective, because everyone's a creation of Allah, and you give as much as you can give, and you share as much as you can share. Alhamdulillah. So
Alhamdulillah.
yeah, that's where I come from.
Beautiful, mashallah. Thank you for sharing, Saira. I know we're going to take an ad break, and then I'm not sure if I'm still in the hot seat or I've passed that stage, but yeah, we're breaking for an ad, and when we get back, we'll be chatting again to Saira.
You are listening to Salaamedia live from our headquarters in South Africa. This is Salaamedia, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Okay.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Freedom Stationery supply Marlin and Marlin Kids pens to me and my school friends. They supply just about everything we need to help us get a better education, from books to files to rulers. In fact, any any accessory we need. Freedom Stationery. Education for the nation. What does accessory mean?
Abu Huraira narrated that he heard the Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, say, "In black seed there is a healing for every disease except death." This Ramadan, experience the health benefits of this ancient blessed seed by using the Tib Black Seed range. Black seed assists the body to boost immunity, regulate blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, and act as a potent antioxidant. Experience a holistic approach to health by introducing the Tib Black Seed range into your Ramadan routine. Available in capsules, pure cold-pressed oil, and a vapor rub. Trust Tib Health Sciences for quality black seed products.
Saira,
For more information, visit blackseed.co.za. Available at leading pharmacies.
Salaamedia, your spiritual companion this Ramadan.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Welcome to the My Ramadan table, where we're going to be doing things a little bit differently this Ramadan, a little bit more fun, a little bit more personal stories, insights, as well as unity. Welcome back, Saira Bamji. Jazakallah for being my co-host this Ramadan, and over to you.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me back. And yes, you're still in the hot seat, Yasmeen.
Oh,
you're
gosh.
not going to
Okay.
get away so quickly. Okay, so what does Ramadan mean to you?
Ramadan. What does Ramadan mean to me? That is a good question. For me, Ramadan is a time, you know me, I love to reflect. I love to take that time out. And for me, Ramadan is that time to sit and reflect, to sit and connect as well. The connection with, again, Quran, with self, sitting with self, and, just the reflection of it. And also it is, for me, more of Ramadan means a cleansing. That's what I think of the word when I think of Ramadan. For me, it's like a detox. I literally we detox from everything that that's from our daily lives, like not watching TV, not listening to the radio, all of that comes into play, as well as what we eat. We're detoxing our body as well. So yeah, cleansing, purification, reaffirmation, reflection. So yeah, that's what Ramadan means to me.
Yeah,
And
subhanallah.
you? Do you want to share what Ramadan means to you? Please do.
Ramadan for me is the Quran. It's just this beautiful reminder of this miracle and this beautiful treasure that Allah has given us, that we do not understand the value of it, and that we do not realize what a gold mine we are sitting on as Muslims, subhanallah. And it is also a time for me to reflect and to rejuvenate spiritually and to reconnect. I think it's just reconnection with Allah and continuing that connection with Allah. SubhanAllah, Ramadan is that beautiful month of truly, Allah has gifted us with the opportunity to truly just spend time with Him and self, and to purify oneself, but also not forgetting the other person. And it's an opportunity to start living the Quran, subhanallah. Because, everything that the Quran teaches us about how to treat one another, the rewards you get, what charity means, what family means, or what the Quran is all about, who our Prophet was, who Allah is. We're getting an opportunity for 29 or 30 days to truly imbibe that and to truly, inshallah, live that and practice that, and we do it where we unitedly do it. We do it where we encourage each other to do it. And we get an opportunity to live Quran, subhanallah. So for me, Ramadan is living the Quran, getting a chance to live the Quran and to do the checks and balances for myself and to encourage the next person and to take each other's hands and say, let's do this, and let's just connect with Allah and with self and with each other, and let's unite as one ummah through Quran in this beautiful month, because we all wanting to achieve the same thing, closeness to Allah in this beautiful month. So subhanallah, it's living Quran, subhanallah.
And also not forgetting the Quran was revealed in this month, in this beautiful month, subhanallah. Yeah.
Yes, subhanallah. So what better time? What better time? Okay, so alhamdulillah, how has your rich Malay and Indian Malay heritage influenced your Ramadan over the years? And now, has things changed?
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. It's a good question because there are a lot of diversity in it. And if you look at it, like when we talk about culture, the first thing comes to mind is the food. So we have, like, my dad from the Indian heritage, he likes to break his fast with something spicy, with something savory. And then we have my hubby, on the other hand, who would prefer something sweet. So we have, a diverse table when it comes to food on the Ramadan table. So yeah, that's the one thing. And growing up, it was the norm for me. I haven't heard, it was nothing out of the ordinary. For me, everything was normal until I grew up and then realized that, okay, that's actually when we go out and then someone will actually point out that that's actually a Malay tradition. And I'm like, okay. And then someone else would point out that's actually an Indian tradition. And I'm like, yes, and we do both. And so that was me growing up. And for now in my household, it's just a combination. We just all combined and come together as one. Alhamdulillah. There's no this is a Malay tradition or this is an Indian tradition. No, that doesn't come up. That doesn't show up. It's just normal. We just, yeah. Okay. I hope I answered that.
No, you did. Subhanallah, you did. I mean, that's your experience. So, there's no right or wrong answer. So it's pretty much, I grew up, like I told you, in what would be considered an Indian household. But we had people from lots of different walks of life in our home all of the time. But I think we did adopt the more Indian way when it came to the food as well. But I think as I'm growing older, you realize that, traditions change over periods of time. Your palate changes, your circle of friends change, your families change. Because when I got married, I did marry into what would be considered also a traditional Indian household, but how they did things and the type of things that my in-laws did during the month of Ramadan when it came to lifestyle was pretty different from how we did things back home, and there was an adjustment. But the I think the essence was to remember and realize that the spiritual practices were still common. It was still the month of the Quran. It was still the month of reconnecting with Allah. It was still the month of reaffirming unity, of family unity, of friendships, unity of fellow Muslim brothers and sisters. But I must at this point say that what I do miss tremendously was when we were growing up in Pietermaritzburg. We had this very beautiful tradition, which is an Islamic tradition, but I think just with the way we're living nowadays, it doesn't really allow for it as much. Or inshallah, I would love to rekindle that. We never laid a breakfast table or a lunch table or supper table for that matter with only a specific group of individuals in mind. We laid the table and we always set extra plates. And I remember my father and his brothers would always bring people over from the masjid immediately after Eid Salah. And I know my father-in-law used to also do this, and we used to have, so besides our core family that was going to be at the table that we expected, these were the people we're going to have, there was always going to be, subhanallah, an unfamiliar face, or even familiar faces of friends that would, pitch up at those particular times or throughout the day. And that idea of sharing and welcoming people to partake in the festivities of Eid and to celebrate and to participate even in the iftars in that level was something I miss, because I think sadly nowadays we tend to do things per invite only for whatever reasons known to all of us. I just would love to rekindle that tradition, because that unified us differently. And alhamdulillah, I miss that. But there was always a tradition or a culture of having an open dastarkhan where everyone was welcome throughout the year, but specifically in Ramadan and Eid. That table just grew in whoever participated, and everyone was welcomed. And I think that is also a teaching of the Quran that you share, and that, if your neighbor shouldn't be going hungry, your community shouldn't be going hungry. And subhanAllah, it was that sense of looking out for one another. And maybe continue to do that in our own ways, with what is accessible to us now.
Ameen, Tuma, Ameen. And that's bringing people to the table. More,
Yes.
if you're just highlighting, it's bringing people to the table. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for sharing that, Shaira. It's such a beautiful story. And yeah, we need to have more of that. We need to bring in more of a united front when it comes to not only family, but friends. And like you say, everybody's just invite only now. So yeah, I feel you there. I definitely do.
Subhanallah. So since Ramadan is the month of the Quran, what does the Quran mean to you? And how is that relationship changing? Has it changed? What? Just tell us more about the Quran and your journey.
Yes. Yeah, my journey with Quran has changed a lot. It's no longer just about reading to finish your Quran in Ramadan. It's more about reading to understand what I'm reading, to connect. So that's my journey. That's taken a total different look at it with you, Saira. It's thank you to you, Jazakallah, so much for that. It's now more of a reflection. When we sit down every Friday, I enjoy our time together where we actually speak about understanding the Quran and finding the meanings that we wouldn't necessarily assume that that's what it meant, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, it's a reinformation. It's reading to understand and not just to finish the Quran. I know usually it's like, how many paras have you read? How many were you now? I mean, I'm like, now I'm taking it slow. I want to read to understand and really understand what I'm reading. Alhamdulillah.
Subhanallah. And has that ignited magic within you?
Yes, it's ignited something totally. Magic is a very, yeah, you could the word magic. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think it's ignited something like a need, because the more you learn about it, the more you want to know. So I recently posted on my Instagram not too long ago about the more knowledge you have, the less you feel like you know. And that is exactly it. It makes you want to go and seek more knowledge, to seek more, to find out more, to know more. So yeah, definitely, it's magical. Yes.
Subhanallah. And how are you perceiving Allah now, since this journey with Quran is evolving? How is your perception with Allah evolving, Subhanallah, or of Allah evolving?
I mean, the perception is that he's there. He's always there. He's always got my back. The reaffirmation of that has just come through in so many ways. And yeah, he's there. We need to turn to him. He's waiting for us. And yeah, that's all. I don't have any other words to describe it.
Subhanallah. No, that's beautiful, mashallah. So if on your journey thus far with Quran, Subhanallah, how do you find the experiences with people now? Because now obviously you come from this rich heritage. You've got a diverse group of people in your family circle, and then you've also got friends, right? And you interact with people in many different ways and from many different backgrounds. How is your newfound relationship impacting on relationships now? Subhanallah.
But it's impacted me on ways of understanding. If I have to think of a word, it would be understanding other people, understanding where they're coming from, listening to what they're saying, and really genuinely no judgment, and just listening to what they have to say. And for me, it's built up a lot of the character in me. It's very like my morals, my values. It's brought that up. It's like I literally had to go and look at that again, reflection. And yeah, so understanding and learning, the word learning. I've learned a lot from these, from just listening, and just being part of it now, instead of just wanting to just listen without hearing, if that's if that makes sense. Yeah.
Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah. I'm so happy and so inspired that it's helping you on your journey of life as well. Subhanallah. So Quran, Subhanallah, has done pretty much the same for me. Alhamdulillah, Quran has come to me at a time in my life where I thought that I was experiencing life in a very dark way for myself. I had lost self-esteem. I had lost self-confidence. I stopped believing in the colorful world that I used to believe once in, and I was just not in a good space. And I kept being told I need to correct my relationship with Allah, which I took great offense to at the time, because I interpreted it as like I'm a sinner, and people are reminding me that I'm a sinner. And but then I started to reflect on the fact that I wanted to, if people are telling me to fix my relationship with Allah and look at my relationship with Allah, I'm very big on words, right? I love writing. It's a passion of mine, subhanallah. And this word relationship started to play on my mind a lot. And I realized that one of the things I was struggling with was I was not feeling accepted by people in my life. And I was struggling to have and maintain relationships in a healthy way. And so I thought, people don't understand me. And that inspired the thought that I was somehow made a connection. I don't know how, that if I need to fix that aspect of life with Allah, then everything else will kind of fix itself. Alhamdulillah. And the only way to actually have a relationship with Allah is to understand what Allah is saying. Because if you spend time with somebody, that's having a relationship with that person. And you only get to really know the person is if you get what that person is all about. And I realized that in my Quran was always something that I had passion for, but I just didn't take it. I didn't interact with it and give it its due respect and its due honor in my life. It was just something there that I held with sentimental value, but not practical value. Subhanallah. And then I started this journey, and I started, and I just went into it with this whole idea that, yes, tilawat is very important. There's a lot of bounties and rewards and everything that Allah has spoken about. It is a form of dhikr, it is a form of dua. But I needed to understand the words. I needed to know, what am I saying? And we're also living in this time where the world is so full of turmoil in every way that we look at it. I mean, we look at what our brothers and sisters in Palestine is going through. And I realized I couldn't talk from a perspective of what is Quran saying. And, as Muslims, we were being attacked in so many different ways. But I wanted to then just clearly understand the basic message of the Quran. I started there. And subhanAllah, I went into it. And I do have teaching experience. I used to teach way back when, before my son was born. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, hope to get back into it soon.
Ameen.
And I approached it from a perspective of, you know what, if I was studying and I was doing a piece of literature, how would I approach the book, the written, and how would I do that? And so if you see my Quran, I know people will tell you you're not allowed to write in the Quran, you're not allowed to highlight in the Quran. I sit and I highlight and I circle words and I put down my ambitions and my aims and my goals, because I've created, subhanAllah, a relationship now with the Quran, and that is changing my life. And that is what I'm trying to share with you and whoever else I can, because the way it's personally empowering me, subhanAllah, it's not something I can keep as a secret. It's something that definitely has to be shared, So
100%. Absolutely feel you. We're going into an ad break now, but when we get back, then we'll continue with our discussion.